Alright, Shalom, Yasha'Allah. Back with another GMS on the go. I'm Brother Nakam. I'm with the Raleigh, North Carolina camp. Before I go any further, I'd like to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Next up, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth according to the Bible who rule well. And a double shalom to all the sincere Akim throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing this truth from righteousness and sincerity to the best of your ability. And I was able to get up today through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shah. Yahweh, that's who the word calls God, which his name means he is or he exists. And Yahweh Shah being the only begotten Son, that's who the word calls Jesus, which his name means he saves, he delivers. And I'm just going to get into a lesson on the famine of the word is upon us. I'm going to say that again. The famine of the word is upon us. So without further ado, I'm going to grab my first precept, and Lord willing, the elect of the nation of Israel is edified. Alright. The first precept I'm going to grab is in the Apocrypha, Sirach, chapter 5, verse 7. And it reads, Salakia, this is Sirach, chapter 5, verse 7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shah. That's right. And this is referring to you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans. And we look into that word tarrying, it means to delay or take all day. So you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, you shouldn't be tarrying to turn back to the God of the Bible, Yahweh Shema Shah, to get your act together. The same way you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans don't tarry when it comes time to do your wickedness, like gang banging, selling drugs, marring your beard, making bonnets upon your head, defiling your temple by smoking these different drugs and, and so forth and so on. Indulging in sodomy, two men together, two women together, committing adultery, worshiping these false gods who are no gods, celebrating these pagan holidays. The same way you so-called Negro Latin Americans don't tarry to do your wickedness, is the same way you so-called Negroes Latin Americans shouldn't be tarrying to turn back to Yahweh Shema Shah, the God of the Bible, to get your act together, to get right with them. It reads on, and put not off from day to day. That's right. So once you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, hear these words, hear this truth being broken down the right way, you don't need to put it off from day to day. Meaning, I hear what y'all saying, but I'm going to get over with y'all next week. Next week come, you ain't nowhere to be found. 2 more weeks come, you still ain't nowhere to be found. A month later come, the truth ain't even crossed your mind. A year later come, you ain't even thinking about the truth no more. You see? So you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, you don't need to be making no tarrying to turn back to Yahweh Shema Shah, and you don't need to put this truth off from day to day once you hear it. It reads on, for suddenly shall the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shah come forth. That's right. You look into that word suddenly, it means quickly, unexpected, unaware. And what's the wrath of the God of the Bible, Yahweh Shema Shah? Martial law, the Arfadiche, which is the mark of the beast, race riots, famine of food and thirst, Leviathan, Bigfoot, these different pestilence, which are diseases. The 200 million ICBM missiles, which is going to destroy this place called America. The Cherish, which the word calls UFOs, which we know as IFOs, identified flying objects, with that laser beam of fire coming down from the bottom of it. You see, and so forth and so on. Everything I just named is the wrath of Yahweh Shema Shah, the God of the Bible. And they're going to bring the wrath suddenly upon 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans. Why? Because you tarried to turn back to them, to get right. Because you put these words off from day to day. You didn't take it serious. It reads on, and in thy security thou should be destroyed. That's right. So 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, you're going to be destroyed in your security, meaning in your comfort. Whatever 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans find comfort in, whether it be your car, your woman, your job, your family, your kids, your clothes, whatever 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans find security in, you're going to be destroyed in all of that. It says, and perish in the day of vengeance. That's right. And you're going to perish, meaning you're going to get put to death in the day of Yahweh Shema Shah, the God of the Bible's vengeance, their righteous judgment. You see? All because you tarried to turn back to them. All because you put this truth off from day to day. So if you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans don't need to be tearing, to turn back to the God of the Bible, if you don't need to be putting this truth off from day to day, then what should you be doing? You should be seeking the God of the Bible, Yahweh Shema Shah, while there's still time, while you still got a chance. So I'm going to grab my next precept. And again, Lord willing, the elect of the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, are edified. All right. This is Proverbs chapter 8, verse 17. I love them that love me. That's right. So the God of the Bible, Yahweh Shema Shah, they love the ones of you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans who love them. You see? And a lot of people, they think that love is those funny feelings that they feel in their chest, those heart-skipping beats. When that's not love according to scriptures. Love according to scriptures is an action, something that you do. We're going to prove that. This is St. John, chapter 14, verse 15. This is Lord Yahweh Shah speaking in his red letter. If ye love me, keep my commandments. So there it is. That's what love is according to the Bible, to keep the commandments. You see? So if you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans truly love Yahweh Shema Shah, the God of the Bible, then you're going to keep the commandments. The Bible said don't eat these abominable foods, then you don't do it. The Bible said don't worship these false gods who are no gods, then that means you don't do it. The Bible said don't indulge in sodomy, 2 men together, 2 women together, that means you don't do it. The Bible said don't defile your temple, meaning your body, that means you don't do it. You see, and so forth and so on. And by keeping the commandments of the Bible to the best of your ability, shows you how a shot that you love them, because you're doing his will, because you're keeping his commandments. So I'm going to go back to Proverbs. This is Proverbs chapter 8, verse 17. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. That's right. So the ones of our people, which we know is the elect of the nation of Israel, who are seeking the God of the Bible, they're going to be the ones who's going to find him early, meaning like right now. You see? And how do you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans seek Yahweh Shema Shah, the God of the Bible? By his men that he has set up in these last days to feed you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans with the truth of this Bible. And that's starting with our apostles and elders, great millstone, down to brothers like myself. You see? So you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, you need to be seeking the men of the Lord early, while we may be found, to where you can still find us. You see, because according to Amos 8 and 11, which I'm going to grab later, there's going to come a point in time to where there's going to be a famine of the word. So knowing that there's going to be a famine of the word, that's why you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans need to be seeking the men of the Lord, early, right now, to where we can still be found, to where you can still find us. Because soon come, you're not going to be able to find us. And again, the only ones who are going to do that is the elect. Grab my next precept. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6. Seek ye Yahweh Shema Shah while he may be found. That's right. So again, you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans, you need to be seeking the God of the Bible, Yahweh Shema Shah, while he may be found. And how do you seek the God of the Bible? Through his men. So you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, you need to be seeking the men of the Lord, starting with our apostles and other great millstone, down to brothers like myself, while we may be found. While we still out on the highways and byways. While we're still throwing up videos on YouTube. You see? Because we're in that point in time to where what? You're not going to be able to receive this word. You're not going to be able to receive this truth. The internet's going to be shut down. The men of the Lord are not going to be out on the highways and byways for too much longer. You see? So you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, you need to be seeking the men of the Lord while we may be found. While we're still around. While you still got time. It says, call ye upon him while he is near. That's right. You so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans, you need to call upon the God of the Bible, not Allah, not Buddha, not the Hindu god of Shiva, not Santa Maria, not Baphomet. You need to call upon the one and only living true power of the Bible, Yahweh Shema Shah, while they're near. And Yahweh Shema Shah, they are still near. How do you know? Because the men of the Lord are still out on the highways and byways. Because we're still throwing up videos on YouTube. You see? So you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, you need to be seeking Him in the Lord while we may be found. You know? Let me see. Get my next precept. All right. This is Amos chapter 8, verse 11. Behold, which behold means to look. The days come, says Yahweh Shema Shai, that I will send a famine in the land. That's right. And what is a famine? A famine is a shortage or lack of something. So there's going to be a famine, a shortage, or lack of something in the land. And what land is that talking about? The land of America. And all around the four corners of the earth, but mainly in this place called America. It says, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water. That's right, even though there is going to be a famine of bread and thirst for water. But this is not what the scripture is talking about. It says, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Shema Shai. That's right. So this is why you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans need to be seeking the men of the Lord early while we may be found, to where you can still find us. Because we're in that point in time to where you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans are not going to be able to find us. Why? Because there's going to be a famine of the word. You see? The Lord is putting the spirit on Esau to shut down the internet, to where you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans are not going to be able to go on YouTube and watch any more videos. You see? We're in that point in time to where martial law is coming. You see, the men of the Lord are not going to be out on the highways and byways trying to teach, trying to edify in the midst of all of that stuff. You see? So we're in that point in time of the famine of the word. This is Amos chapter 8, verse 12. And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. They shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh Shema Shai, and shall not find it. That's right. And this is exactly what 2/3 are gonna. This is exactly what 2/3 of our people are gonna do. They're gonna go all over soon come, trying to find the true men of the Lord who was teaching His word, and they're not gonna be able to find us. Why? Because they tarry to turn back to the God of the Bible. Why? Because they put this truth off from day to day, and they didn't seek the men of the Lord early when they had a chance to get this word. You see? So a famine of the word is upon us. And you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans, you need to get this word now. Because having to understand this word is what's going to keep you stable in these last days. And I'm going to give one precept and I'm going to close out. Isaiah. All right. This is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. That's right. And that's talking about the wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures. You see, having the wisdom and knowledge, meaning the understanding of this word, this is what's going to keep you stable in these times that we're fastly approaching. You see, when there's a race riot going on, what's going to keep you stable? The wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures. When there's a famine of food and thirst going on out here, what's going to keep you stable? The wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures. When there's when the RFID chip is made mandatory, what's going to keep you stable from not taking it? The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding these scriptures. When all hell is just broken loose out here and people are bugging out, what's going to keep you stable? What's going to keep you above water? What's going to keep you sane instead of being insane? The wisdom, knowledge, and understanding these scriptures. So this is why you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans don't need to be making no turn to turn back to Yahweh Shema Shai. This is why you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans don't need to be putting this truth out from day to day. This is why you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans need to be seeking the men of the Lord early before the famine of the word come. Because the wisdom and knowledge of this word, because the wisdom and knowledge of these scriptures is what's going to keep you so-called Negroes, Latino, and Americans stable for when all hell breaks loose out here. It reads on, in strength of salvation. That's right. So having the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding the scriptures is going to be the strength. It's going to be the power of you so-called Negroes, Latino, and American salvation in these last days. It reads on. The fear of Yahweh Shema Shai is his treasure. That's right. So the only way you so-called Negroes, Latino Americans are going to receive the treasure, Yahweh Shema Shai's riches, meaning having an understanding of this word, it starts off by fearing the God of the Bible. If you're not fearing Yahweh Shema Shai, then you're not going to get his treasures. You're not going to get his secrets. You're not going to get the riches. But the point of this lesson is, the famine of the word is upon us. So you so-called Negroes, Latin Americans, seek the men of the Lord early, right now, while you still got a chance. Because the famine of the word is upon us. So without further ado, I'd like to give all honor, all glory, and all praises to the Heavenly Father and his only begotten Son, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rukakodash. Next up, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, from teaching us the truth according to the Bible who rule well, and a double shalom to all the Sisakium throughout the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth and righteousness and sincerity to the best of your ability. Till next time, shalom, Kwam Yashala.